going on, vinyl community? Welcome to another video with the Record Spinner. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on Mobile Fidelity SoundLab's Ultradisc one-step pressing of Janis Joplin's Pearl. I'm honestly not going to talk too much in this brief intro because there is a lot to discuss and go through in this video. So enough of the chit-chat. Let's jump into what this video is all about. Ever since 2016, the audiophile label Mobile Fidelity SoundLab has started doing a new line of releases called the Ultradisc One-Step Series. The intent of this series is to present the albums that they release in the series to sound as close to the master source as possible, and that entails with the way that these records are manufactured, and that is through a one-step process. Now, usually large-scale releases go through a three-step process where they take the lacquers, create the father, then the mother, and then a stamper. With the case of one steps, they take the lacquers, essentially create the father, which serves as the stampers. Now, this process is also very similar to how direct metal mastered pressings are done. Now, by doing a one-step process and eliminating the steps of generational loss, you ultimately end up with a more detailed sounding pressing, sounding as close to the lacquer sourced from the original master, as well as the lowest noise floor possible. One of the other cool things that are used in these one steps is the type of vinyl formulation that they use, and it is called super vinyl. Now, this is a formulation that was developed by Neotech and Record Technology Incorporated, or RTI, as many of us know it as being one of the best pressing plants in North America. Now, super vinyl allows for noise floor reduction and enhanced groove definition, and it has a very intriguing appearance because when it comes to standard black vinyl, it includes carbon black and it makes it more durable. But with super vinyl, it features a carbonless dye that gives the record an almost translucent look, which is very reminiscent to how Mobile Fidelity pressed their records in the 70s and 80s with JVC proprietary vinyl, and it is also rather similar to Quiex vinyl. Now, aside from the manufacturing process and the type of vinyl formulation that is used, Mobile Fidelity masters these pressings from the original master tapes as always, cut at half speed and at 45 RPM. So that alone sonically means that you're going to have a rather impressive sounding record. And basically, it's safe to say that this is Mobile Fidelity's version of what Analog Productions is doing with their ultra high quality record series, or UHQR as we know it. But to also tie it all in, Mobile Fidelity were the original rights holders to the UHQR brand since they did a line of UHQR releases in the late 70s. And then Chad Kasem, who is the CEO of Acoustic Sounds, Analog Productions, and Quality Record Pressings, bought the rights to the name for Analog Productions, and the rest is history. Now, Mobile Fidelity has licensed a bunch of titles for the Ultradisc one-step series. It all started with Santana Abraxas, then they've done Donald Fagen's Nightfly, Simon & Garfunkel's Bridge Over Troubled Water, Bob Dylan's Blood on the Tracks, Yes, Fragile, which I am really kicking myself for missing out on, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Bill Evans Trio, and a bunch more. And what's crazy is that they almost immediately sell out upon pre-orders. So anytime that a MoFi one-step pressing is announced, since I manage a record store, I always push to see if I can get them in. And it's kind of a stroke of luck if the distributors are able to deliver them. And I remember I did manage to get in the Paul Simon Still Crazy After All These Years release. And then when Janis Joplin's Pearl was announced, I ordered that, and I was quite surprised when we actually got them in. And just upon looking at it, I was intrigued. And then my good friend Mike over at Retro Spin Vinyl got a copy of it, and he had sent a video clip of him playing it. And sure, while iPhone videos are compressed in sound quality, this pressing sounded amazing alone in the video, so I decided to pull the trigger. Now, here is the unboxing portion of this video just to show you how this thing comes presented. So overall, it comes in a soft touch type of box, which has a very deluxe feel to it. I almost feel like I should be wearing cotton gloves while handling this thing. The material is just very high quality. As you can see, has the original master recording band laid in gold foil, which is nice. Has the album cover in the middle. And then it also states on the bottom that it is indeed the Ultradisc one-step pressing. Here is the spine here. And on the back, we have the MoFi holographic sticker of approval. And as it stated, it is a limited edition of 10,000 copies. I have copy number 8,176. It is a lift-up box, so the lid comes up just like this. And inside, this is the sticker that was on the shrink wrap that I just placed right in the middle. We have some foam squares that kind of hold everything in place. That way nothing gets dinged up and damaged while it's being transported, which is a very nice touch. And then we get to the goods. Now, with this release, given that Pearl celebrated its 50th anniversary, MoFi decided to do something special and throw in some extra bits and pieces. And we have these very nice black and white live photos of Janis, which are suitable for framing. And these pictures also come inside the gatefold of the 2LP 45 RPM pressing that MoFi did of Pearl back in 2016, but we're going to be touching on that in a little bit. And next up, we have a very nice booklet. It says Pearl inlaid in gold. And we have various pictures of Janis on and off stage, scans of the tape boxes, which is very cool. It kind of really gives you the sense that MoFi didn't treat this like another run-of-the-mill one-step type release. They did something special and different, and I think it's a very nice touch. Even more gold inlays there on the back. So very nice book that you can just kind of flip through real quick. And then we have a sort of spec insert, which explains what entails with these one-step pressings, the super vinyl, the source material, how they're manufactured, everything. Basically, everything that I discussed in the beginning portion of this video goes more in-depth here. And look, they even got, gold, inlays on the insert, which is pretty cool. So this is kind of something cool that you can kind of, read through and just kind of get a sense of what entails with these pressings. And next we have another insert. Now this is the one part that a lot of people are kind of on the fence about. It is simply an insert of the album artwork blown up. Here's the front and back, and of course it states the original master recording band on top. This is actually what the 2016 MoFi pressing looked like. Some people aren't fans of these inserts. I can understand why. I think it's nice that they include it so you can see the artwork blown up, but I understand if people prefer to have the record stored in a standard gatefold jacket that has the band and everything like you see up top here, but that is bypassed because MoFi packaged the records very uniquely and classy for these one-step pressings, and they come in individual sleeves, soft touch sleeves, I should say, the same kind of the same material somewhat as the box. And here is the first LP. So has the MoFi logo there, album cover in the middle, and it states LP1. Almost everything, the track list is inlaid in gold, which is very nice. And inside we have a J card that is holding the record in place. And you open it up. It's just a basic white one, nothing crazy. That way, sleeves don't have seam splits or anything. It is a very nice touch. Going above and beyond to package the records very safely. And you open it up, and of course the record comes in the classic MoFi rice paper sleeve that, they are, I'm not going to say most well known for, but it is a top-notch sleeve that every collector, I think, must use. Take the record out. And here is the custom center label. Hopefully you guys can see the translucent effect nicely. You're getting more of a glare, but believe me, it is translucent. It's almost like clear black vinyl, which is very stunning. Pressed on 180 gram vinyl at RTI. RTI is the sole pressing plant that MoFi uses. And then you just put everything back here. And then just for the sake of showcasing everything, I will show you the other LP. Here is LP2, as stated on the front here. Track list. J card. Opens up like this. And here is the other record. So I'm really trying to see if you can all right, so if you look closely, you can almost see my record cubes in the background, so you can see that translucent effect there. If you hold it to the light, the effect really comes across. So that is exactly what super vinyl looks like. So once again, I apologize for the glare if it came across. And then packaged all the way on the bottom of the box, may have stated before, we have another foam square just to hold everything in place. Now, the big question I'm sure all of you are wondering is, how does this pressing sound? Now, prior to getting my hands on this pressing, I had a music on vinyl pressing that was done back in 2012, and that pressing did sound quite nice. Music on Vinyl is a great audiophile reissue label based in the Netherlands. Sure, they primarily use digital sources for their stuff, but I am not opposed to it, because when it comes to vinyl and digital, I think what matters is how it is prepared and done, and these guys do it right. But it goes without saying, in all honesty, and I'm not just saying this because, you know, it is what it is, but this one-step pressing is a knock out of the ballpark and may take the gold for being the best sounding pressing of this album. Right off the bat, the bass on this is so deep, and the floor in my room was definitely feeling the vibration, particularly in the subwoofer. The soundstage and instrument separation is so wide, and Janis's voice is so transparent, especially on a track like Mercedes-Benz. It legit sounds like she is singing right in front of you. The drums are very well defined. The choir vocals on My Baby deliver so much more ambience, and the acoustic guitar on Me and Bobby McGee is so lifelike. I will say, though, when I got the music on vinyl pressing of Pearl, that was the first time I had listened to that album in its entirety, because I knew that album was essential, and I also enjoy Janis very much, and I wanted to dig into her work. But hearing this pressing just made the whole listening experience more enjoyable, and most importantly, more engaging. Now, like I mentioned earlier, Mo-Fi did a 2 LP 45 RPM pressing of this album back in 2016. I just pulled the insert out of the box, so this is not a copy of the 2016 press. And of course, people will debate over how both of these pressings sound and what the subtle differences are. Obviously, I don't have the 2016 pressing in my possession, so I could not do the comparison myself. But based off of what I've read, the differences are rather minute. If anything, people were appraising the one step for having slightly brighter dynamics, but I feel like if you had just the 2016 pressing and you didn't want to go forth the extra step with the one step, you are somewhat still set. But still, something as beautifully packaged and mastered as this is rather impulsive to check out for yourself. Now, is this one step simply a repress of the already existing 2016 pressing? I can confirm it is not, and one of the concerns that a lot of people had is the amount of dead wax space in the records of the one step, which is a rather good amount. And one could say that mastering engineers have the ability to cut lacquers as wide as they want, and while more groove space is given to the 2016 pressing, I think the ability of the one step sounding so great in the groove space that's there is down to the super vinyl formulation. Using it, I think, allows for more detail to be pronounced in the pressing. In terms of price point, initially these one steps were being priced at $100 when they first started coming out, and with time it has been raised to $125. It is a hefty chunk of change, but given the presentation of it and what is involved, one can say that it is definitely worth the value. But also, aside from audiophiles enjoying these releases, there are also collectors. These pressings are products for us to purchase, but in the long run they are also investments. Copies of the one-step pressing of Abraxas on Discogs are going for $800, and that is absolutely insane. So it goes to show that with time, these things retain their value in the years to come. Now, do I see myself getting more of these Mo-Fi one-steps? It is very likely, because this past year they did the first two Eagles albums, their first self-titled album and Desperado, and now for the new year, they are really dropping the ball because they are doing the rest of the classic Eagles catalog. They're doing On the Border, One of These Nights, Hotel California, and The Long Run. They're also doing James Taylor's Greatest Hits, Miles Davis' Bitches Brew, Eric Clapton's Unplugged, and the one that I am very excited for is all of the David Lee Roth Van Halen albums. Now, I personally don't know if I would go as far as to upgrade my entire Roth era Van Halen collection with these, and that's just down to the price. I think they are priced accordingly to what entails, but multiply that times 6 and it's over $500,000. I think I may stick with just getting the first album simply because it is a classic, but then the completist bug in me is going to go nuts. So it is a never-ending roar. But needless to say, I will be keeping an eye out for more of these titles. I'm going to aim to get these in at the store that I manage, and if they're available for order, I'll surely report back on any other titles that I will check out for myself. So there you guys go. Those are my thoughts on the Mobile Fidelity SoundLab Ultradisc one-step pressing of Janis Joplin's Pearl. Now, here is a question for you. Do you guys own any MoFi one-step pressings? Do you own this one? What do you guys think of it? What are your thoughts? Please drop a comment down below. I'd love to know. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and if you want to support this channel, be sure to check me out on Patreon. See you guys in the next video, and most importantly, keep the records spinning.